Hey everybody, and welcome to Project Premium Harvest. My name is Matt. In today's video, we're going to be going over the declarations and fund analysis for TSLP, BIGY, and SOXY. And what do I do on every single one of my videos? I show my account value to be very transparent, and I'm not like a fake YouTuber. So my account is currently valued at $102,341.91. Now let's go over to the spreadsheets. So starting off with TSLP, the inception price was $25 a share and the all-time high was $32.44. The April distribution that is coming up is going to pay out about 55 cents a share, and the current share price is trading at $19.15. Okay, now let's go over the fund analysis and make a determination. Is this a good fund to invest in? The total premium since this fund has been incepted has paid out $11.39 a share, and there have been 18 distributions. This fund was incepted back in, or received its first dividend payment, distribution payment, November 27th, 2023, and has been out since that time frame. The average distribution per payout is about 63 cents a share, and the share price change in value, basically saying that if we bought in at inception, comparing it to the current share price of $19.15, what would my total return look like? We're at negative 23.40%. So not very good. Nobody wants to invest into a fund that's a negative number. But if we throw in the distributions in addition to that share price, the numbers look a little bit more positive. And the total return is about 22.20%. So a positive number. So almost for, a year and some change of investing, almost a year and a half investing, get 22.2%. Hey, might not be bad. Moving over to the share price change in value, if we invested at the absolute worst time, that all-time high, which was at $32.44 up here. So if we crunch the numbers and throw them in the calculators and the algorithms, that's a negative 40.97%. So not very good in that regard. But if we look at the total return, we basically take the premium in addition to that share price, still bad, negative 5.83%. So if you invested at the absolute worst time, you are not making your money back. But right now, I will say this, Tesla is in a bit of a downward trajectory. They have a lot of things on the books that they plan on doing in the future. No one knows if they're going to hit their timelines accordingly. However, they do have a case for kind of changing some of the normal, ordinary functions of day-to-day life. So something to consider. You don't have to love Tesla or hate it, but that's kind of my thought process. But just unbiasedly looking at this fund, if you bought at the inception price, you're doing okay. If you bought at that 52-week high or that all-time high, not doing so great. But I definitely think Kurv does a better job than tsly from the YieldMax competitor. So those are my 2 cents there. Now let's go over to the 2 YieldMax funds of BIGY and SOXY. All right, now that we're up to the YieldMax side of things, we're going to go over BIGY. The BIGY inception price was $50 a share, and the all-time high price was $51.66 a share. The April 4th distribution payment is going to be about 46 cents a share. More accurately, 0.4582, but I think saying 46 cents is a little bit better. The current share price of BIGY is $47.06, and this fund has only been incepted for about 4 months. It's actually it's going to be quite interesting to track this fund month over month to see how it performs. And BIGY and SOXY are definitely my funds that I'm interested in YieldMax. I definitely like the ymax, ymag, but there is a lot of more deterioration. There are a lot more options, a lot more NAV erosion. But theoretically, on paper, BIGY and SOXY aren't supposed to see as much NAV erosion. They basically cap your gain about 12%. So that they can capture some of that upside. So we will see if that is actually the case. Therefore, it will be, like I said, interesting to track this month over month and to see if that is the case. Cool. The total premium for BIGY has been $1.97, and there has been number 4 distributions, and this fund has been out for about 4 months. If you look at the average distribution, is about 49 cents a share. So it looks like they're trying to keep that distribution around 50 cents a share to maintain they hit that 12% mark. All right, so the share price change in value since its inception, unfortunately, when they've created these funds, they couldn't have timed the market. So they created it right before a correction. So therefore, we are going to see a little bit of a hit. So maybe if the market wasn't in a correction, this could have been performing a little bit better. So I will give them a little bit benefit of the doubt. But the share price change in value since inception is negative 5.88%. And if we throw the distribution in addition to that share price, you're still down negative 1.93%. So you're at a loss. The share price change in value, if we look at the all-time high of that $51.66, is negative 8.90. And then if we take in the distribution payment in addition to that share price, you're only negative 5.08%. And the average share price for this fund is about $48.58 a share. I think it's too early to make a determination if this is investable or not. I would like to see more positive numbers. However, we are in a correction market and we don't know what the market's going to look like in the next short-term, long-term, 3 months, 6 months, year, and so forth. So we just have to play it by what we are seeing. All right, now let's go over to SOXY. SOXY has been incepted at that $50 price, and the all-time high was $53.69. There is hope for these funds because they have appreciated past their, inception price. So that's kind of a good indicator as to what the future for this fund holds. The distribution payments, I'm assuming, are going to be very consistent at that 50-cent range, but then that share price is what matters for this specific fund. Like BIGY, SOXY has been incepted back in January, or at least the first distribution payment has been paid out. And that's usually what I go off of. I don't care what it did before that. The total premium since this fund has been incepted is $1.92 a share. As we mentioned, there have been 4 distribution payments. And the average distribution payment is about 48 cents a share. Now let's look at, is this a good investment? The share price change in value since inception is negative 14.02%. So therefore it's not very good. And then once we throw in that distribution in addition to that share price, it's still negative 10.16%. And then looking at the all-time high numbers, it's not going to be any better because the all-time high was higher and then the share price is lower. But the all-time high value, negative 19.93%. And then the total return, incorporating that all-time high number of 53.69, you're negative 16.34% on your investment. So therefore, like I said, for BIGY, too early to tell if this is going to be a legitimate investment or not. That's all I really have to say on that. But the average share price is $46.89. All right, now let's go to Robinhood and give you my final words. Okay, guys, so the first fund we talked about was TSLP, and kind of what we were discussing. It's not a bad investment if you got in around that, $25 inception price, but if you bought in that all-time high, you're definitely down a little bit. So it's not very good. But I will say this, I think Tesla has a bull case long-term. This is just an opinion piece. This isn't unbiased data right here. I think the products that are coming out in the future are definitely worth investing into, like the robotaxi stuff, the Optimus robot, Neuralink, all of that stuff is incorporated in Tesla. I definitely think it has an opportunity to change how we view the world, which people are going to want to buy that kind of stuff. But the numbers speaking, we looked at them at inception, pretty good. At all-time high, not very good. Talking about BIGY and SOXY, I like BIGY over SOXY more so than the other. One, it's already performing better. And number two, I don't like being very specific into one industry. Like semiconductors, of course, are going to skyrocket the next couple of years because of just the demand for chips and data centers and processing power. So there's definitely a case there, but is that going to directly translate into the funds that YieldMax have purchased? That's very debatable. When it comes to the semiconductor industry, I think it'd be better if you guys just picked your winners and then stuck with them. But for BIGY, they choose the 50 best stocks, try to get you a 12% return, and then try to catch some appreciation. So I definitely like it better. On paper, these funds I am highly interested in, but I need to see how they perform before I invest in them. I want like 6 months. I want to see how they kind of play out through this correction market, how they play out through, maybe there will be a recovery in the market, sometime in the next 6 months. So I definitely want to take a look at all those different data points before I make a decision on investing. With that being said, guys, that wraps up the video. I'm not invested to any of these 3 funds, but doesn't mean I won't in the future. I have a case for TSLP that I'm considering buying once I feel like the bottom has been met. And same thing with BIGY. I think maybe after this correction market, I have a case to potentially purchase it. But I want to see, at least for BIGY, track record of performance and consistent distributions and consistent NAV appreciation when the market does get out of its correction bear trend. But yeah, guys, that wraps up the video. See you in the next one. Matt out. Hope you're all doing well up there.